Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Josh Snipes, and if you're just checking out the channel for the first time, I do all sorts of operator guides, map guides, tips and tricks, and videos like this. And if you're into that kind of stuff, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you at the end of this video and for the rest of my videos that I make. Now, without further ado, let's introduce the topic for today. Now, it's going to be 5 things that you are probably doing wrong in ranked, and things that I think that people can touch on, and things that people can improve. And it's not just people, it's stuff that I've noticed I do. And the reason I notice I do is because I have to look at these clips every single day. So when I look at these clips, I start seeing all these mistakes, and that's where these 5 tips came from, is actually from my clips. So I figured maybe I could just help improve someone else that might be running into the same issues that I'm running into. Now, the first thing that you may be doing wrong is when you die, you don't go on cams. Instead, you go on your phone. Now, I mean, just not paying attention. Say when you die, you just go straight to another teammate's POV and you're just looking at your phone, you're just browsing Reddit, you're looking up awesome YouTube videos, and you're just not paying attention at all. And that's to say, if there is at least a cam or something that is useful alive, because every so often teams will get all the intel possible. Doesn't usually happen, but every so often it'll happen. If you don't have any way for you to view, at least if you're looking at team's POV, a lot of times you have teammates that aren't talking. So just talk for them. Just say, hey, my show is actually pushing upstairs right now, because your other teammate needs those calls if the person that's playing isn't making them. You got to help your teammates out with intel, and that's a big part of this game. So when you die, don't just say, well, I died, it doesn't matter anymore. You can still have an impact on the round via callouts and via just coordination in general. A lot of times when I die, I try to tell people where I think they should go, what I think they should do, and obviously if they think differently, that's their choice, but I try to just, because I can see everything now, and I don't have the tunnel vision of trying not to die when I'm playing on defense or playing attack. So make sure you guys are honestly using your intel, using your cams. Ask your teammates to throw out drones if you're on attack. Ask your teammates to throw out drones and watch flanks. That's the biggest thing that you can possibly do when you're dead. You can't do anything else in terms of impacting the round besides giving callouts. So just make sure that you're not on your phone, because I do that all the time, especially more so when I'm solo queuing. It's a bad habit, and I definitely need to break it, and so do you. So another point that I wanted to touch on was something that I've been seeing a lot of issues on, and it's more so with people who are just getting into the game, because it's kind of a hard concept to understand, because a lot of times we always emphasize droning. Drone this, drone that. Make sure you drone before you enter. Make sure you drone your teammate in. All this stuff, you kind of hammer it down on newbies and even intermediate players, and it's just a bad habit that a lot of people run into when you drone too much. Now, what I'm saying is, sometimes you're thinking, if there's no one to follow up your drone, then there's no point in droning for, say, 2 minutes and then assuming all of that is clear. Because let's say you're on Oregon, you drone all of the first floor, you drone all of the top floor, let's say they're on basement, so you drone all those floors, but there's no one really entering from there. Let's say the rest of your 4 teammates went through construction on the other side of the map. You don't know if there's a roamer there by the time you get off your drone, because someone could have came up those basement stairs and maybe rotated into a spot that you didn't see because you were droning for so long. Also, if you're droning for 2 minutes and not getting off your drone, that usually means that the site execute is probably going to happen at some point in the near future. So you do need to sort of make your way over. Don't drone for 2 minutes unless you have a teammate following up that drone. That's completely different, because at least you can clear out with someone rather than trying to just rely on the fact that, hey, no one's gonna rotate, no one ever lurks, no one ever flanks. That doesn't ever happen. Those assumptions will get you killed 9 times out of 10, especially if you have a good roamer that realizes, hey, there's no one actually pushing this side. Let's just head on over and take back some control, especially in a late flank in the later of the round. That can really impact how your team plays and the outcome of that specific round. So just make sure, if you're droning, have someone either follow it up, or just try not to drone too long. Just drone section by section by section. So drone by room, or drone at least by every 2 rooms or something like that. Don't drone for 2 minutes and then assume all of that is clear still. That's not a good assumption. So the next thing that you guys actually may be doing wrong, and something that I notice I do a lot, is you go and try to maybe lay down, or you're crouched and you're just under a skylight. Now think about consulate. You have circle stairs, you're sitting at the top of circle stairs, maybe aiming down towards visa office in that hallway that's right next to visa office, and you're right into the skylight. Sure, there might not be someone up there, but that's such a bad habit to get into, and that's why I noticed it, is because I got into the habit of holding those weird angles, things that people wouldn't understand, and like why I was there and how I got there. So it's a big deal though when you get into a comp or even higher level ranked, because people will drone those places out, and those are free kills if you're under a skylight, because it's pretty hard to shoot someone back when they see your whole body and all you see is this tiny sliver of their head. So make sure you try not to position under a skylight. There's a lot of issues with that, and it's a bad habit to get into because you don't always get punished because there's not always someone sitting there watching it. But you think of consulate, circle stairs and yellow stairs both have 2 skylights over them and are both high traffic areas. So make sure that you don't sit under, don't hold an angle under it unless for a fact you know that there's no one there and that all the other people that are attacking are, say, on site, or they're making execute on the complete opposite side of the map in admin. I just don't sit under skylight. It's a free kill and it's not worth losing your life to. So make sure though, it's really just positioning. It's being aware. Try not to just position right under a window that's open or anything like that unless you know for a fact that there's no one out there or no one above. So it's positioning. Just make sure that you work on that and be aware of your surroundings, because I know tunnel vision is a real thing in this game, especially if you have an ACOG and you can't really see anything to your left or right outside that ACOG. Now the next thing that I think that you may be doing wrong is more so about what role you're playing, not so much about the specific person that needs to do it, but it's a big thing across the board. You'll see it less in comp because normally there's someone that's dedicated to this, but in ranked it is such a huge problem when no one's coordinating the team, or you don't have sort of a quote-unquote in-game leader that's sort of telling people what exactly to do. This is an issue that a lot of people run into. Now, it's not watching flanks. When you're not watching flanks, guess what happens later in the game when you're trying to get the side execute down? Everyone dies. You normally will have someone, especially when you get in higher ranks, they'll normally have someone watching flank as they know the plant's going down. But other than that, I've definitely gotten a lot of flanks off and a lot of lurking off just because of the fact that someone's not watching behind, or you don't have a drone, or you don't have a Nomad air jab, just watching behind in a doorway. Now, Nomad has made a huge difference in how you watch and hold flanks because you don't really need to do that much anymore. You should have a drone on it, but a lot of times the air jabs kind of do the trick. So I guess it just depends on how you use your air jabs and sort of what map you're playing on. But if you think a map like Consulate, you can get some gnarly flanks off if people aren't paying attention. And that's part of the problem, is not paying attention. You need to make sure and try to figure out where the enemies are on most of the map. If people are under you, if people are roaming behind you, even on Oregon, you can kind of rotate around between kitchen and go back upstairs in sort of the circular motion. And that's part of the problem if you're not paying attention, not clearing out roamers, and not holding down flanks and letting roamers sort of roam free and not trying to shut them down at all. So just make sure that if it's either you or someone else, give someone sort of a dedicated flank watch role, especially more so in the later ends of the round, because normally people won't try to pull off flanks until the very end, or at least until the last minute or so, because you don't want to die too early as a defender, so they might not go for it. Although there are some nutty people who will try and just go for these crazy flanks and end up doing it. So just make sure you're watching your flank, especially if it's a map like Consulate where you have a couple sets of stairs that anyone can come up and they can go all the way to the other side of the map, go up the staircase, and then flank on in. I would definitely just be wary of that. So for my last thing that I think that you are doing wrong is something that I noticed just because of the fact that I was going through clips, and I'm going to show it here. And basically what it is these people are unloading their entire magazine into a window or into a doorway to open it, which isn't wrong in and of itself, but there's no one guarding them while they're reloading. So they use their entire magazine and then they go to reload, and I immediately run out and get both of them. And they weren't ready for it because there's no one there to follow it up. Now, if there's someone else there watching the doorway while the other person's reloading, that's totally okay, because that person would have killed me immediately, or if I got lucky, I would have got both of them. That doesn't usually happen that often. Making sure that you don't, if you're alone, don't unload a whole mag and then look away from the doorway and assume no one's going to run out of it, because you're going to get someone like me who is going to play the unpredictable and get a kill just because of the fact that you weren't paying attention and that you probably didn't drone it out. That's a big thing too, is if you think someone's in there, maybe don't unload an entire magazine into there. Maybe just open up enough that if you hit it or something like that, it'll come down. But just make sure that you're paying attention. Be aware of what you're shooting into, the rooms that you're going into, because you might have someone like me who's just gonna run out the doorway as soon as the doorway opens and then get a free kill onto you. Anyways, guys, I hope this was pretty interesting. I tried to just compile a couple things that I think that you can work on. It's stuff that I know I can work on, so I figured that since I was going over these VODs and finding videos that what I needed to improve, I would just make a video out of this and sort of show you guys what I think I can improve on and what I think you might also be doing wrong with just bad habits and things that can be fixed very easily with some effort. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. This is going to be Josh Snipes signing off.